2023 was a good year for Rampant repaints. 9 different species, well actually 9 individuals, 2 of them were baryonyx, 4 herbivores and 5 carnivores, that's right, I practiced this and I messed it up still. Now that the year is almost over, it's time for me to analyze all of them and decide which one is my favorite and which one was my least favorite. In short, I'm ranking my repaints of 2023. Now, at number 9, at the bottom of the chain, we have Grim. Now, don't get me wrong, Grim, it's a very nice repaint, but there's just one problem. That orange is way too bright. So, this is honestly just a problem I have with Camp Cretaceous dinosaurs, is that there are no official renders of them. You know how, like, Toro has an official render, Bumpy has an official render, the Giganotosaurus also has official renders that you Google it and you'll see that it in that exact pose online, a nice PNG image for you to use, whatever. Grim, Big Edie, Pierce, they don't have that. So it's very hard to find official colors of Grim without it in like bad lighting or anything. Now the patterning on the face, I really like how that turned out with the color shift color shift red and color shift blue to give it that special thing that a lot of the baryonyxes have. And I eventually did go back and paint over that pale barf green with a much better, just foresty green to really just make it look better. But that orange is still something I need to repaint in the future. So that is why it's like it doesn't look that much like Grim. It's still Grim, you can look at it and say, hey, that's Grim, but it's just too orange. I need to repaint this eventually. Next up, we have Limbo, who is a little more screen accurate, but the only thing is that, well, I think it's mostly the striping that does it for me. I really rushed with the striping, so it looks pretty splodgy on that side. I think the other side looks fine. Yeah, they look way better here. But, so yeah, it's not... I think it's mostly because Limbo is, like, the least appealing of the baryonyx Grim. And also the fact that these 3 are meant to represent, like, realistic species, and, I'm mostly a Dinosaur King, repaint guy, so it's very hard for me to get, like, realistic-looking paint jobs. This still looks pretty, actually, I have no idea what to call it, but either way, it's not my strongest suit to look at a realistic dinosaur and try to paint that, because I can't do realism. What can I say? I'm a cartoons guy. I mean, these are 2 of my favorite shows right here. But just to be clear, I do not hate these repaints. I really like them, and I just think that again, Grim not as accurate, and Limbo, you're cooler, but Limbo's still like the least appealing of the baryonyxes. Still a cool repaint though, especially that subtle bit of iridescent there. Next up, we have Minii, which is the Piazza Waka Wakasaurus. I know there's a proper way to pronounce it, but I like to say it that way for fun. It's meant representing the juvenile of Tiny. Of course, the in canon, like in Dinosaur King, there was a Piazza Waka Wakasaurus that worked with the Yangchuanosaurus. So when I found out that the Mattel's variants had crests on it, and it just looked like a baby Yangchuan, I'm like, oh, I gotta repaint this to look like that. So very nice pair right here. But of course, the Dinosaur King variant does not look like this. So we also have Beta to represent the Piazza Wakasaurus, even though it does have toe claws. Either way, I like this repaint. Even though it's down low, it's because there are other ones that are better than it, but I really like this one. Next is my biggest repaint this year. It's Twilight, which was the nickname we gave to Maximus from Dinosaur King. Again, you would expect this one to be higher, right? Well, I did put it this low. It's a really cool repaint, and I really like how it turned out. But again, if I can pull up Chomp here real quick, this is the color Twilight's orange is supposed to be. It's too... What is with me and orange, man? Like, all I gotta do is mix this shade of orange, and then I can paint that on Twilight. Then this would look like Maximus. I'm gonna, like, switch from Maximus to Twilight, because I'm too used to the nicknames we gave these Dinosaur King dinosaurs. But other than that, I really like how this turned out. One day I will come up with a way to put spectral armor on it, but for now, this is good. This is Maximus, and it's a really good repaint. Just needs to be given more orange and more... What is that? Is that a fly? The only reason I rank this higher than Grim is because, well, the orange isn't that distracting. You can still say this is Maximus, while that one's like, it's kind of bothersome. This one's like, okay, well, you could also pass it off as a black Triceratops, like the black T-Rex. Okay, moving on. The Dinosaur King Iguanodon, which we nicknamed Jacksepticeye because it was in Australia, it's a British dinosaur, so of course I gave it a British accent. Can I move your head? Yes, I can. There we go. I really like how this one turned out. It's such a simple paint job of black and then a bit of white on it, but then I did some dry brushing and it just makes this thing look really cool. The red eye, this is such a good repaint. I really like the way it turned out. And since it's arms, there's really no point in moving the arms. I don't have to worry about the peg getting, you know, paint rubbing. So this one just really does look like a fully, complete, wonderful looking toy. And it can still make its sounds. Say hello to Thomas the Ampelosaurus. I still remember painting this whole thing blue, and then painting on the yellow, thinking it looked ugly, but then when I really started adding more stuff to it, like this lighter shade of blue, and maybe even a bit of dry brushing on the yellow, and then the white underbelly, and this thing really came together. Although, I might say I like the Iguanodon more. I'm not sure. It's really tied between these two, but still, really cool. I also like how this is one of the few times I actually did the same color, that weird pupil color, because every time I look at official images, that's the color of the pupil. It doesn't have a black pupil. Although I can see there are a few unfinished spots, like the legs don't look as painted. And again, there are a few spikes that are just not finished painted, but then they look nice as well. It's like dry brushing. There's still the blue underneath, but there's also blue. It's like kind of there's some stuff I want to touch up, like you can see right there at the back of his ear. That's not done yet. So like, it's still good. I'd still rank it this high, honestly. Or maybe I'll put it behind Twilight. I don't know. I feel like I ranked this guy way too high than what he deserves. We're in the top 3 now. It's the Jurassic Park Builder Caduceus. The first time I had ever heard of Caduceus was because of Jurassic Park Builder. It has become one of my favorite prehistoric animals, and I know Mattel is making one, but this just feels right. This is an iconic figure. I'm pretty sure when you think of Caduceus toys, this is the first one that comes to mind. Mattel, that one's a nice one, but I bet you it's got short tail, and it's like, I don't need to buy it. I have this. This is my Caduceus, and I can especially say that because it's got the colors. I painted it. First black, then purple. It's such a nice combination of colors. On top of that, mine came with like broken teeth, so I made new teeth for it. They are a bit noticeable, but it's like not as noticeable if you're far away. It's like, oh hey, look at that. And I also kept that tooth missing to say it's got battle damage. You know how I am. It's also one of those rare times where painting the eye was not pain. And of course, I lathered him in color shift paint, so he just looks absolutely gorgeous. Oh, yes, top 3. Top 3 right here. Now, this next one was a close call, so you obviously know who's going to be number 1 now that I put this guy at number 2, but it was honestly really close. I could have easily put this guy at number 1 as well, because it looks exactly like the one from Dinosaur King. Although, one critical note, as I said in the last video, I think, that what I should have done was painted all of that in the special color shift pink, and then paint it with the beige, and that would be more accurate. But other than that, that's literally it. It's just so good. The striping is perfectly blends together to look like, that's the thing about the package episode. It's got like brown stripes, but they're shaped to make it look like these are the stripes when that's actually the whole color. It's just so nice. And I don't think he's supposed to have an underbelly. Maybe he does, but it's like a very subtle different that there was really no point in me painting that on. So that just made this such an easy, wonderfully, beautifully simple repaint that turned out looking so good. Just like the Iguanodon, except even more colorful, which just, so good. Such a good repaint, this one. So what could possibly top it? You already know. It's the Cryolophosaurus. Sorry, Packy. Oh no. I said it in its debut video, and I'm saying it again. This is my favorite repaint of the year. It's just such a nice combination of blues and whites, and it all comes together so nicely. And I still remember how I came up with the nickname for this dinosaur. I thought I would give him like a chilly name, like Elsa, like an ice type character. But I thought, nah, that's too obvious. So I thought, why don't I give it a fire type name just to be funny? And I thought not to, but it's like, I'm not sure if everyone watches Fairy Tail. So yeah, I came up with Zuko, because everyone knows who Zuko is. Hey, Zuko here, so it would be funny if the ice type just starts talking like a firebender. Oh, and the way the color shift really blends in here, and it works so well, especially on the back of his neck. This is my absolute favorite repaint of 2023. No questions asked. Love the way he turned out. Oh, look at the underside. It's so good. So good. And there's like barely any hints of yellow left on him. But in terms of my favorite Rampant repaint video of the year, I'd have to give that to Limbo, because I had so much fun animating the fight between the Barry's Grim and Anne. Second place goes to the Cryos video, and third place goes to Hilda's video, which introduced Grim, because that one was honestly the most simple of all the videos. I also made a few clay characters this year, but no one cares about those. So yeah, those were all the repaints of 2023. Which one of these is your favorite? And do you have any notes on what I could have done differently aside from Grim? Yes, I know Grim needs a new color, but do you have any notes on the other dinosaurs on what I should have done differently with them? And who knows, if I don't get lazy towards the end of the year, there might be one more repaint coming soon. It's less of a repaint and more of a project, honestly. It's a bit of both. I think you can tell what I'm gonna do, judging from this stack of clay, a Spinosaurus, a Sinoceratops. It's pretty obvious, right? Right?
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video from beginning to end. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel and join the Zainreborn community. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.